Sickle cell is a life-threatening disease which comes with complications. A killer with no mercy once in the system. It is an inherited blood disorder that affects millions around the world. As the world observes the sickle cell day to day, it is pertinent to note that sickle cell disease is a genetic condition that is present at birth, inherited when a child receives two sickle cell genes, one from each parent, and is said to be more prevalent with African descent as well as races from Asia, Mediterranean descent, Latinos, and Caucasians. With this year's theme, building and strengthening global sickle cell communities, formalizing newborn screening and knowing your sickle cell disease status, it is therefore a call for everyone to recognize the first step in fighting the disease. It should be known that the life expectancy of an individual with sickle cell disease is decades shorter compared to those without sickle cell, primarily owing to early mortality during adulthood. So, early screening for sickle cell disease coupled with antibiotic prophylaxis by 3 months of age, immunizations, disease-modifying therapies, and routine medical care are recommended. But can this situation be avoided? How well can it be managed to reduce the death rates? Are people aware of the devastation that families go through? Can these be eradicated? My guest will in the moment share with us some very pertinent ways that the life of a sickle cell patient can be managed and possible means to avoid its multiplication. This is Nigeria Today. I am your carrier, Clinton. Welcome. Joining me in the studio to discuss reduction of sickle cell deaths in Nigeria is Dr. Mrs. Kelechi Nwoko, General Physician. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And also in the studio is a survivor that has stood her grounds to fight the battle of sickle cell and see to its eradication to the minimum decimal, Rabi Maidunama. Rabi is a founder of Maidunama Sickle Cell Foundation, and she is a district chair special committee on sickle cell awareness and also the prevention, Rotary International District 9125 member. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having us.
I'll start with you, Dr. Kelechi. Now, I know we did a little introduction of what sickle cell is. Now, tell us more about this disease and how deadly is the disease?
Sickle cell disease, as we all know, is an inherited disorder that can be gotten from parents to the offspring. What do I mean by that? Once a parent has the chromosome and the gene head bears, the wife and the mother has the same, they're bound to have a child with sickle cell anemia. Sickle cell anemia, as we all know, is a deadly disease. But the good part about it is a preventable disease. So once the measures are being taken, it can be prevented, thereby having an offspring that is sickle cell anemia free.
Okay.
Yes.
So you just told us, so how deadly is it?
Sickle cell anemia is a deadly disease, and it's something you wouldn't want to have. It comes with a lot of complications, early complication, late complication. Hence, it's preventable. The best advice I can give anyone is to prevent having warriors. We call them warriors. The sickle cell anemia patients, we call them warriors. So the best you can do is to prevent having one, because it's deadly.
Thank you. Now, Rabi, you are a warrior, just like you said.
Yes, I am.
And a survivor too. So tell us, what has it been like? What's your experience with this disease?
Well, living with sickle cell is actually very challenging. And when you have what we call the crisis, you have excruciating pains, and it could be in any part of your body. As long as blood flows in that part of the body, you can have a crisis. You can have crisis at any part. It could be on the head, it could be in your stomach, it could be on your leg or your hand. So the pain can be excruciating. It's not something you can describe, right? Just like labor pain, some women will say it's indescribable. So this sickle cell is like that. So as the doctor mentioned, it comes with a lot of complications. Sometimes you have to be transfused, you become anemic, and you have to have blood transfusions. I have been lucky. I don't fall under the category of those who are always anemic. Yes, but it comes with other complications like bone deterioration, infections like osteomyelitis. You can lose your joints or bones. Like I have had a hip replacement because it came with, mine has always been the bone issue. So over the years I've suffered a lot of surgeries on my bones, and then I've also had a hip replacements. Others can have kidney failures, they can have heart failure, and lots of things can go wrong. You can lose your eyesight, and so it depends on it. It differs from one patient to the other.
The experiences differ.
Yes.
From the other,
yes, most times. Yes.
Now, Doc, how can she's reeled out a lot of the challenges that comes with this disease. Now, how can it be managed? I know we're talking about preventing it, but now we have some of them in Nigeria. So, how can this disease be managed?
Okay. First of all, I would want to say, know your genotype.
Okay.
So now, once you've established, okay, this is a sickle cell patient, there are routine check. Like in the country where we find ourselves, most people wait until they come down with crisis. If you're able to have your routine check, some things can be averted.
So how often can you have this routine check?
When a child is born and the parents, a diagnosis of sickle cell is being made, the child one should be on prophylaxis, like you earlier mentioned yet. So these are the measures that's been taken. For kids within 2 to 5 years, you expect to be on antibiotics prophylaxis, that's penicillin antibiotics prophylaxis. This will help reduce the risk. Between the ages of, say, 5 to 16, you're supposed to have transcranial ultrasound of the brain to prevent you from having stroke.
Okay.
Yes. These children should be seen monthly. One, to know if they are actually taking their daily medication. So you can't say 6 months. If you have access to medical facilities, you should have a daily check. An eye check, the blood level, there's what we call stable PCV. Most parents are not even aware the PCV of the child. Most times when they present to the clinic and ask, Madam, what's the PCV of the child? She said, I don't know. The last time it was 22, last time it was 18. So if those women have access to health facilities where they could always do this routine check, you won't wait till the child has crisis. So once the child is becoming anemic, we know what to do.
Like you said, is it daily or monthly? Or
monthly.
Monthly. Okay.
Yes. Monthly. Routine check, eye check, transcranial ultrasound for the age bracket, which is between 6 to 16 years thereabouts, should have that. Then for people that are prone to osteomyelitis infection, have their full blood counts checks often. Make sure those children are well rehydrated. Sorry. Okay. Make sure those children are well fed, because most of them have nutritional anemia, and these are things that can be prevented. So by the time they come for routine check, you're able to assess, follow up monthly. For instance, the child presents to the facility for full blood count, and you're able to assess that this child is not taken adequately. You sensitize the mother, tell her what to do. Next month, the child doesn't come down with that, maybe something else. So you keep preventing monthly screening for those children. It will help a lot.
Okay, you just mentioned some of the drugs we take. You mentioned antibiotic, but I've heard someone talk about folic acid. How?
Yes, I didn't go into details of all their medication. Okay. Not just folic acid. Okay. You have folic acid. You have the antibiotics, one I spoke about. You have the palodrine for the malaria. You have the hydroxyurea. Also for them, these are essential medication that needs to be taken.
But they don't have to take it like take self-medications. They have to see the doctor before then, right?
So what we'll do in the clinic is, because I told you, it's a monthly check. So all you need to do is give them the one that will run for that month. So by the time they come next, you refill. It's a monthly medication. Daily. Folic acid is daily. So those children have it like for a month. And most of the pack comes with 30 tablets. So that lasts for the month. By the time they come again, you refill. So it's a daily medication. Yes.
Okay, now, Rabi, I know you've been living with this disease like for up until now, right? Now, I know oftentimes there's this some people who have this myth about certain diseases. So what has been your experience in that regard? You know, from your family members, from people you meet, what has the experience been?
Yes, okay. Yeah. I'm lucky. Thank God I come from an educated family and a privileged family who from the onset accepted that this is what she has, you know. I was diagnosed in the UK, and so my mother was actually trained how to manage me. And she was like, what is sickle cell? So they taught her how to manage me. And this was the first time she was hearing about it. First time that was in the 80s, she experienced it and all. And so at a point, they were even calling her to come and lecture other parents, you know. And my father didn't see anything wrong with me. In fact, I became his favorite child and all that. And this was opposite of the kind of society we come from, where there's a lot of stigma and discrimination. Just because you have sickle cell, then it becomes like a death sentence and everybody keeps pointing fingers at you. But my parents didn't allow that. So I was actually taken to the best hospitals. I was on my routine checks often, and then they didn't allow, they kept telling my school that this is what is wrong with her, you have to be careful. But unfortunately, the kind of parents we have now are those that even hide their children because of the discrimination and stigmatization. They hide, they don't tell people this is what is wrong with my child. And doing that cannot help you in managing anything, you know. But the more you know about your child and what you can, how you can seek help, the more you'll be able to take care of that child, and he will fit perfectly into whatever kind of society, you know, he finds himself. So that's what I got from my family. There was no atom of discrimination and all. In fact, because most of us come with a special gift, we're actually very smart and all that. You miss school, but you come to pass your exams, you're always, so there was really nothing to actually hide me away from the society and all that. So the experience I got from my family was almost perfect. I think that was what motivated me to want to help others and not shy away from what I'm living with, right? So basically that I got all the love from friends and family. I started with the family, so it has to start from the family. Then the other part of the society can
follow.
Yes, can follow.
Well, thank you very much. Let's go on a short break to listen to some views of the cross-section of Nigerians on their knowledge on what we are discussing. This is packaged by our correspondent, Thomas Ogbetere.
Okay, honestly speaking, some people usually go to this, what are they calling it, is a lab, so that let them check how their genotype is. But me, I'm the kind of a person that if that thing did not affect me, so I don't usually go and check how my genotype is. But there was a day, due to my father's illness, when they now took my blood. So my blood now rhymed together with my father. They have no any excuses on my blood. My blood is the rightful blood to use to my father. So I now use the opportunity and ask the doctor, what is my genotype? He now said that my own is AA. So I now say, I wanted to ask him that, am I a sickle cell? He now said that, have you ever have sign of sickle cell in your life? I say no. He said I should go. That means my genotype and what are they calling it is it's okay. So
no, I don't know my genotype. I don't care to know till you're married. I want to get married.
Well, I do know my genotype. Yes, it's AS. So, well, actually, I didn't check it because of I'm going to marriage per se, but I was not feeling too well, so the doctor needed to know my genotype. So when I checked it, then the person that attended to me he went further to explain why I should check my genotype. So the topic of marriage now came. You know, our genotype is passed from our parents to our dad and mom. So when they are two different genes, they come together, the child has a particular genotype different. So it's necessary to know your genotype because, as for example, an AA can marry can marry an AA. An AA can also marry an AS. But now an AS has limited options. An AS cannot marry an AS as a male or a female. You need to go for an AA. Reason being that when an AS comes together with an AX, when they...
It's necessary for people to know their genotype because no matter how much in love you are with somebody, sickle cell should just be kept out of it because it's something that no matter what, the person will die prematurely. So it's something that people just have to know it and then know how to avoid it so that at least they can have children that can live long.
Yes, I know my genotype. And my genotype is AA. I remember when we wanted to get married, and then our church told us that it's a must for us to do the genotypes, and we have to do that. So, in fact, it was the first time I discovered my genotype was AA. So, since then, I will advise people that if they want to get married, not even because of getting married, it's a must for you to know your genotype.
Thank you, Thomas, for that package. This is still Nigeria Today. And my guests are here with me, Dr. Mrs. Kelechi Moko, a general physician, and Rabbi Meidunama, a survivor, a warrior. So, Doc, you had the reaction of people there. You know, as much as we're talking about it, a lot of people still don't have a clue of what sickle cell is all about. The first person had AA, and they asking, "Am I a sickle cell? How do I have sickle cell disease?" So talk to us about some of the reaction of people there, and of course people that are aware.
Okay, most people don't even want to know.
Which is dangerous.
Yes. So I think what the government should do is to inculcate that as a routine investigation, thereby subsidizing the rates. Just like we have HIV, there were times you had to pay to be screened for HIV, but now it's no longer there.
In fact, you don't even know when you're even going for the just check your status.
Yes. Yeah. So if the genotype testing can be inculcated to the routine check, that will really go a long way. And sensitization, people has to be aware from the churches, from the market square, anywhere you see group of persons. The other guy was talking about AA and he was asking. I think the second person that spoke actually had an idea.
Yes.
People know their AS and they don't know who to marry. If he says I have A, I'm safe. They also have limited options. So we have a role to play. Churches screen most of the couple, not all. Few churches do.
Now, before you continue there, you talked about the churches. Now, what about the communities? Because sometimes people go for traditional wedding. They don't check them. They just wed them traditionally. So how important is it for communities or for traditional rulers and parents to ensure that their children go for tests even before the traditional wedding? You don't even have to wait for church. So tell us, how important is it?
It's very important because, like you said, before the church wedding comes up, those people are already dating. These people are already courting, and these people had maybe their court marriage before the white wedding. Everybody needs to be sensitized about this. From the churches, like I said, to the market square, everywhere you have community of persons, parents should be sensitized. I think we health workers has the major role to play because being a traditional ruler, whoever you are, you come to the hospital. Why people come to the hospital is to seek for medical health attendance. If someone comes in the general outpatient department, we shouldn't just be talking about HIV, hepatitis. It should be said. So with that, they could pass the message to the other community members, starting from the public health hospital, the public health sector, down to the private hospitals, down to the government hospitals, like the primary health care centers. This will also help. So I feel that will really help to sensitize people more about this sickle cell anemia we're talking about.
Now, Rabi, I know you have a foundation, Tunama Sickle Cell Foundation. Tell us what you've been doing as regards the creating awareness and all of that. And what kind of support you've been getting from maybe government and
Yes, the foundation has been over the years trying to incorporate all the awareness channel. We don't leave any table unturned. Like today is World Sickle Cell Day. We were in a school in Kuje, in secondary school, and we had to start this like 3 years ago, catching this, we call it catching them young, secondary schools from SS1 to SS3. This boyfriend-girlfriend issue starts as early as that stage. We visit secondary schools, tertiary institutions, and everywhere. So we tell them what we do, this education on genotype, so that you don't give excuse as you grow up that this is, I'm already in love. No, catching them young is a good start. We have started like 3 years ago to do that. Now we go into communities as well, those who are not educated, who don't have access to education. We speak to them. It's not Abiku, it's not Obanje, it is not Aljenu. So we tell them that this is a medical condition. And if you can stop giving birth to more children, or if you know your genotype, the community members before, it will help. Now we also deal with the community rulers. For every community we visit, we have to take permission from the community ruler, make him understand that this is the sensitization we're bringing to. Most of them accept. Like in the north where I come from, it has become a problem because, of course, churches are ahead. I'm not ashamed to say that churches are ahead of us in asking people to bring HIV genotype tests, which is what is not done in the north. HIV tests cannot even, in the sitting room, 2 people can be joined. So this is what we want our emirs, our chiefs in the north, to try and make it mandatory in mosques and everywhere. Is it that we don't love ourselves? No. Bring your HIV test. When did hepatitis start? And yet it has gone a long way in people demanding hepatitis tests. Now, as we know about the blood group also, from birth, children know in hospitals, everybody's blood group is written. As she mentioned, well, I'm just adding to it, why won't genotype be also done at that point from birth? And then every child you ask, like today when in the school we ask them, who knows the blood group? Almost half of the school know their blood group. This is something that they can do with genotype as well. So policies like that can actually help in making people understand the importance of genotype.
Now, Doc, shortly before we go, now you have sickle cell, probably a sickle cell patient with you in the house, and the person has what we call crisis. So what do you do in that instance?
Okay, like you said, there are so many crises. It can present in so many ways. Okay, for instance, if a child comes on with sickle cell crisis and you know it's a mild crisis, you could as well check the temperature. If it could be from malaria, which is fever, once it's fever, all you need to do, give the child an analgesic. Even with pain, it's still the analgesic. Rehydrate, check level of dehydration, because this is what we teach most mothers with warriors. Check the level of dehydration, look into the lips. Yes, the child needs to take more fluid because all they need is to rehydrate. Rehydration, giving an analgesic like paracetamol, then take the child to the nearest facility.
When you say rehydration, just mention it clearly. Taking water. Good. So they have to take enough water.
Enough water. But if a child that doesn't really like water, there are other sorts of water. You can give tea, you can give any fluid, anything gets.
Okay.
Yes, watermelon.
Well, thank you very much. Well, that's it on Nigeria today. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. Dr. Mrs. Kelechi Nwoko, General Physician, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. Thank you. And to you, Rabi Medinama, founder, Medinama Sickle Cell Foundation, and District Chair, Special Committee, and Sickle Cell Awareness. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us. Thank you. Happy World Sickle Cell Day.
Thank you. And our viewer, thank you so much for always being a part of it, of this. And don't forget, Nigeria Today is weekday at 7:30 p.m. on NTA News 24. You can also watch this and other episodes on www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. Once again, thank you for watching. I am your carrier, Clinton, saying goodbye.